10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, Episode 2. What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. As always, the goal of this show is to give you a short and concise jazz lesson to work on for the week and teach you concepts of each lesson step by step. My name is Nick Manella, I'm your host, and I'll be guiding you through these lessons complete with audio examples and downloadable PDFs, which you can find on our website, www.10minutejazzlesson.com. That's the number 10minutejazzlesson.com. You can also find our blog and monthly giveaways at our website, so go and check it out today. This podcast will be designed for all skill levels, so make sure you check back every week to see if our episode is geared towards your particular skill level. I want to remind you that today's lesson is actually a part 2 of a previous episode, so if you haven't checked that other episode out, make sure you go back, listen to it, and download the materials for that lesson before you jump into this one. All right, let's get into it. So today's lesson is going to utilize the knowledge we learned in the last episode and build on our awareness of thirds and sevenths over the blues. By this point, you should easily be able to play these notes over every chord, and you shouldn't be searching for them, thereby delaying your improvisation ideas. Remember, the ultimate goal when it comes to improvising is to be fluent over all chords and let your ideas flow easily from your mind to your instrument. The best improvisers don't hesitate when it comes to expressing themselves through their solos, and you don't want to be hesitating either. In this lesson, we'll include the other chord tones into our exercises while maintaining the integrity of our voice leading when the chord actually changes. If you don't know what chord tones are, let me explain a little bit about that. The chord tones are the root, third, fifth, and seventh of every chord we come across in a chord progression. In other words, these are the most clear and important notes in any given scale. These notes are important because we can be sure that they sound great and are also safe to play over any given chord change. We've already covered the third and seventh. Now we'll be including the root and fifth into our exercises. This provides us with a little bit more of an interesting solo that also happens to be slightly more complicated. In exercise number 1, the first note of every measure where the chord changes will either be a third or a seventh. This will further cement the thirds and sevenths into your mind while playing more interesting exercises than we studied in the previous episode. Here's what exercise number 1 sounds like to give you an idea if you're doing it right or not. In exercise number 2, I'm going to set you loose to explore your own creativity while playing certain important parts of the progression as I have written for you. Try to use mostly chord tones and make your improvised section sound as clear as possible. Make sure you don't try to get too complicated yet. That will come in time, and I want you to be comfortable with these concepts before you can try to become the next John Coltrane. Wherever you see slashes in the written exercise, you can do whatever you want, but wherever you see written notes, you have to make those a part of your solo. What I'm wanting you to do is actually improvise using your own skills, but I have provided the important voice leading concepts for you. Imagine this exercise like taking the training wheels off your bike, but still having an adult nearby in case you get shaky and fall. Again, don't try to pedal 100 miles an hour. The slower and simpler, the better. There will be plenty of time to get more fancy and complicated later on. try to make your improvised solo sound something like the written solo in exercise number 1, if possible. Here is what I would do with exercise number 2. Of course, you're not supposed to copy exactly what I'm doing, but this will give you an idea of what I'm going for in this exercise. There you have it. That's exercise number 2. Obviously, that one is much harder than exercise number 1 and is going to take longer to make sound good. The reason for this is because you're using your own creativity and not just reading something off the page, which of course is what jazz is all about. So make sure you take your time on that. That could take you the majority of the week to actually get sounding good, but stick at it and you'll really know your thirds and seventh, and you'll have very good voice leading in your solos. I hope these 2 exercises will help you with soloing over the blues and make your solos and voice leading improve the more you practice at it. As always, eventually try to commit these exercises to memory and at some point increase the tempo to match your skill level. Good luck and have fun. All right, people, thanks for listening to the show. I hope you've gained something from this lesson that will help you become a better improviser. That's what we're all about here at the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. As always, if you have any questions or you'd like me to explore a concept on the show, please email me at 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. That's the number 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. If you enjoy these lessons, please consider donating to the podcast. You can find the donate button on our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com. If you want to keep the show up and running, please send a few dollars our way. It does a lot to keep the podcast up and running. If you would like an easy way to donate to our show that doesn't cost you any extra money, please use the Amazon link on our website. If you have to buy something anyways, by using our Amazon link, they kick us a small amount and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Good luck on this material, and most of all, have fun. We'll see you next time.